Most people think winning an argument means overpowering the other person, talk louder, bring more facts, dominate the conversation. They confuse noise with strength, but real dominance isn't volume, it's control. I once watched a heated debate unfold between 7 people in a room. Voices were rising, egos were clashing, everyone trying to outtalk each other. And in the corner sat one man who barely spoke the entire night, maybe 10 words. But when the conversation ended, everyone aligned with him. Not because he attacked them, not because he impressed them, but because he understood something about human psychology most people never learn. The person who controls emotion controls the outcome. If you keep arguing the way you do now, reacting instantly, trying to win every point, you'll keep losing influence even when you're right, and you won't even realize why. First, silence is psychological pressure. When someone challenges you aggressively, your instinct is to respond immediately, defend yourself, correct them, counterattack. But the moment you react instantly, you enter their emotional frame. Now you're reacting, not leading. Instead, pause 3 seconds. Maintain eye contact, no defensive expression, no rush to speak. Silence creates discomfort. The human brain hates uncertainty. When you say nothing, their mind starts replaying what they just said. They question their tone. They wonder if they went too far. Most people can't handle that tension, so they start filling it themselves. They clarify, soften, over-explain. Sometimes they even weaken their own argument without realizing it. Silence applies pressure without aggression. It forces self-exposure. Second, stop trying to prove people wrong. Ask controlled questions instead. The moment you tell someone they're wrong, their ego activates, logic shuts down, identity takes over. But when you calmly ask, "What makes you see it that way?" or "Help me understand your reasoning," you shift the dynamic. Now they're explaining instead of defending. And when people explain their logic out loud, they often hear the flaws in it themselves. You're not attacking them, you're letting their reasoning stand alone. When someone reaches doubt on their own, it sticks. When you force it, they resist. Third, control emotional contrast. If someone approaches you at a level 9 emotionally and you respond at a 9, you've just escalated conflict. 2 fires don't create clarity, they create chaos. But if someone comes at you intense and you respond with calm precision, something shifts. Their aggression becomes obvious. Your composure becomes dominant. Calmness feels like authority. Emotion is contagious, but so is stability. When you refuse to match chaos, you expose it. The most powerful people in any room are rarely the loudest. They're the most emotionally regulated. Fourth, know when to walk away. Some people don't argue to discover truth. They argue to protect ego. You cannot win against someone whose goal is validation instead of understanding. When you recognize the conversation is no longer productive, you can either keep fighting for control or disengage strategically. Calmly say, "We see this differently," and end it. No drama, no final jab, just exit. Walking away isn't weakness, it's selective engagement. And selective engagement is power. You don't argue with everyone, you choose where your energy goes. Here's the real shift. This isn't about winning arguments. It's about positioning yourself as someone who doesn't need to argue to be respected. The way you communicate shapes how people perceive your stability, intelligence, and authority. If you react emotionally, interrupt constantly, and escalate tension, you train people to see you as unstable under pressure. If you pause, question strategically, regulate your tone, and disengage when necessary, you train people to see you as controlled. Controlled people are trusted. Trusted people gain influence. That quiet man in the room didn't dominate anyone. He let others exhaust themselves. He applied pressure through silence. He asked questions instead of attacking. He remained stable when others were emotional. And by the end, people weren't agreeing because he forced them. They aligned because he made the alternative look unstable. That's influence, that's control, that's real power. The next time conflict appears, don't ask how to win the argument. Ask how to control the dynamic. Because the most dangerous person in the room isn't the loudest one. It's the one who understands that communication is not about proving intelligence. It's about controlling perception. And once you control perception, you don't need to raise your voice to be heard.